lies in wait. Thinking about the days when...
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Lewis back, and I am back for 343 TV Electronic Music Essentials Season 3. And let me just go ahead and pull up this chat so I can say what up to all of you lovely people. I'm hoping some of you guys are already in there. All right, cool. Okay, that's a lot of... These are ads. All right, let me hop into these comment section. Where are the comments? Live chat. Boom. Okay. Whoo, we already got some people in here. All right, cool. What's up, Enigmatic Onion? How you doing? John Kingston III, as always. Andrew Duke, as always. What's going on? Kai Struckle. Nice to meet you. That's a new one. And Paul Vanderwerf. I like your name, man. Welcome. Chris K. Haven't met you before. Greetings from New York. I hope things are well in Copenhagen. And Mculate Music. What's up, dude? From Detroit. That's awesome. And wow, Chao Hu from Beijing signing in. That's amazing. This is super cool. Mystic Moth, what's going on? Simple Sam, hello. Rashane, welcome back. All right, sick. So for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you just stumbled across this fantastic channel, what this is 343 Labs, more specifically 343 TV. And this is a branch of the Electronic Music Production School, 343 Labs, that is based in New York City and Berlin. I am an instructor at that school. We offer classes in Logic, Ableton, mixing, mastering, synthesis, vocal production, composition and arrangement, all sorts of things. So yeah, if you're interested in taking a class, please go to 343labs.com. If you're digging the content, please make sure you subscribe. We got tons of awesome stuff going on. And we also have a recently launched Discord channel for our whole community. And what's going on? Jonathan Rodriguez, welcome. All right, so for those of you that have been tuning in, right, you'll know that what I've been doing is we reformatted this, like my show at least, right? And it's called Electronic Music Essentials. And so what I've been doing each week is bringing up like a specific topic that I think is really important to cover, kind of from the ground up, that I feel like, is going to be something that will enable you to leave today from this session already like being ready to make better music. That's the whole goal here, is to give you guys things that are like accessible and useful, right? So what I'm going to be talking about today is audio effects. And essentially, I think that, like we live in a time where there are new plugins coming out like every single day, and there are just so many on the market. And to be honest, there's so many good ones, and there's so many plugins for so many different types of things. And, it's like a religion kind of, each plugin family. It's like, oh, do you like Slate? Do you like Universal Audio? Do you like Waves, Sound Toys, whatever it is, right? I like Valhalla Reverb. Oh, I like this reverb, blah, 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 right? So what I'm actually going to try to do is break down to you what elements of that conversation and like you should actually care about, and kind of what elements you shouldn't, right? And so I'm someone that's been producing music for 12 or 13 years at this point, and I can tell you right now that I went through that phase, as I think most people probably do, where I thought that buying nicer plugins would make my music better, right? And at the end of the day, that's just not true at all, right? And in fact, sometimes buying some of these more expensive and more complex plugins actually are going to create more problems for you than maybe they wouldn't. And it took me a while to kind of understand that, there's a reason that a floating band EQ exists, and there's a reason that like a Pultec EQ emulation exists, right? And so I'm not really going to be talking too much about like vintage emulations today. I want to focus on like fun things, like echoes and delays and reverbs and phasers and flangers and like all sorts of weird stuff like that, and pitch shifting. And so, yeah, let's just jump right into it. I'm going to basically just kind of, as always, you know, like I'm going to try to build a track a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be applying the principle of whatever we're discussing to, you know, just kind of build it out and demonstrate what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and jump right into Ableton. Let me make sure that my output is set correctly, because I think it's not. There we go. All right, so first one I want to talk about is delays, right? So first of all, with regards to the chat and everything, if you don't know what one of these effects does, then by all means ask, and I'd also be more than happy to like go down and run through like, you know, what the function of the effect is, right? Not just the plugin. Yeah. So also what I actually want to do is I want to show you guys what plugins I use on a regular basis. Right? So I'm not just going to like throw every delay plugin at you that's been invented that we could be here for hours. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show you the ones that I like, and I'm going to show you why I like them and what's cool about them. So I'm just going to start with like a really, really simple like synth pattern that I'll just create right here. All right. I'm going to work in B. I just realized you're going to have to do this again in a week. I don't know what that means. Simple Sam, we do in fact stream every week, but it's about a different topic every week. So that's what we do. Yeah, we're actually going to start with delay and echo. I'm going to show you exactly how I use it and why. So yeah, being. Oh, you mean going over the 11 effects? Yeah, I'm actually not gonna like just go over the Ableton effects. I'm actually gonna be going over a lot of third-party effects. But I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, this isn't like yeah. Let me just be clear about what we're doing today. This is not like, hey, let me introduce you to Ableton's effects. That's not what's going on. This is, I'm gonna show you how to use effects in your productions in general. So I'm gonna be using plugins that some of you might not have. And I might use some of the Ableton plugins, but I'm also going to show you like the difference between using an Ableton delay and using like Echo Boy by Sound Toys or something like that. All right, so like, let's just start with this, right? And so I'm going to purposely create a synth that has a little bit of like multi-timbral things going on. So one cool thing you can do in the matrix of the wavetable is you can come over, or this is just true for most synths, by the way. You can set it up so that the velocity affects how much the modulation depth on the envelope is applied. And so what this allows me to do is I can actually take different notes and make them have different degrees of openness. So it's a really cool way to like almost like automate your filter without actually having to automate. So there's a reason that I'm doing this. One, it sounds cool. And so when I repeat this, right, and I'll just, set up this little 4-bar loop. And the first thing I want to show you is that, like, one of the coolest places to use echo or delay of any kind is on some sort of instrument or sample that is multi-timbral. And so what I mean by that is, for those of you that don't know what that means, and I'm actually just going to write that word into the chat because it might be a little bit weird. And this is referring to timbre. Some people call it timbre. Doesn't really matter. What timbre is it's basically the dominant overtone of a sound. So it's like the frequency that makes you the frequency combination, the harmonic combination that makes you understand that you're listening to a piano or a guitar or my voice or a kick drum, those types of things, right? And so when I say multi-timbral, what I mean is that, like, an instrument that has more than one tonal variation in its expression. So as we can hear here, there's almost 5. It's meow, boom, boom, bow, boom, right? So these different layers of tone. And this is, like I was saying, a really great place to apply echo or delay, because what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to actually create really, like, more interesting offshoots that are going to continue to be alive, right? As opposed to just constantly repeating the same tone over and over and over. This will give you the opportunity. So let's do eighth notes. Demonstrate something to you. This is going to be, if I take this velocity button and turn it down to 0, this velocity percentage, right? What this is going to do is it's going to make the synth not open, and I want you to, like, not vary in how the filter is opening, and I want you to listen to how that's going to affect the interest, like how interesting the delay is. Not very interesting. Versus and weaving that has, like, a lot of life to it right there, right? And so what's cool about using this delay, right? I can go even lower with the frequency. So we're getting that really cool kind of right? And so one cool thing about using a delay, and I think this is, like, obvious, but I'm going to say it, is you can create a new rhythm, right? A new groove by doing it. Something that maybe you couldn't have come up with on your own. So first of all, I like to use delay specifically to create atmosphere, right? What it allows you to do is, like, kind of imply reverb without having reverb, right? So, like, what reverb is it's just lots of little delays happening really quickly, right? And so when you are able to, what delays do is they imply space, right? So I'm going to try to make this into just, like, a pretty, like, atmospheric thing. Now, what's cool about the Ableton filter, right? Or Ableton filter, about the Ableton delay, and this is true about most delays. You can determine what frequencies are delaying. Now, Now, so this is like one of the most important things about using delay is inherently when you're using any time-based effect, reverb, delay, echo, that type of thing, what you're doing is you're introducing, right, new notes into the staff, so to speak, right? In each bar, you're introducing new moments of sound. Like, yeah, obviously. What does that actually mean, though, is that you're muddying up the mix a lot more, right? So you're taking up space that could be used in those frequencies and on those notes. And so you need to be very conscious of like what frequencies your delay is hitting, right? So like, for instance, when it's hitting like higher notes like that, if you have like a little shaker pattern or hi-hat pattern, that's actually going to get slightly like in the way of that. Also, more high frequencies equals more energy. So I want to use this more as like more of a subtle thing. All right. So, by the way, Ableton's delay sounds like really good. So let me show you like another delay that I'm just going to layer something on top of this, right? I'm going to try to create like a kind of echo landscape or something. With a different pattern. Let's actually go like minor seventh. What's up, William? And what's up, Samuel? Welcome. Let's actually go to... So what I'm doing here is I'm playing the minor seventh, right, from B, the interval, and then I'm going to play the perfect fifth. I'm going to do this with a different sound. Actually, that sounds really nice. I'm not even going to touch it. I didn't really mean to do anything there. Sometimes things just happen, right? They work. All right, so I'm going to show you my personal like favorite delay that I use all the time. This is the repeater from D16 Audio Group, and you can get this actually from the Slate pack. So if you get the Slate monthly subscription, which I personally use, I absolutely love it. I think they're like really good utility plugins. I use them I don't really use them so much for their analogness. I use them more for the fact that they just sound pretty good and they're quick to use. So what I like about this plugin is it has this spread option, right? So let me turn the mix down like 50%. So that's just right down the middle. And then it echoes out wide. And then it just echoes wider. Pretty simple. What's also cool is it has this analog mode, which basically means you can do that. So when I press pause, it overloads the feedback. So you Yeah, so this plugin, like I have some real analog delays that like overload when you overdrive the feedback. That sounds like pretty good in terms of digital. Like you can really have some fun with that. And as you can see, once you have the feedback going, if you start messing around with the delay times, you get some super weird shit going on. So that's also a fun thing. It's just like with delay, this is one of my favorite tricks to actually do. Is you can, I'll show you. So if you adjust the delay time while something is delaying, you get these really cool artifacts of these little squeaks and kind of bubbles and stuff of when you adjust the delay time while it's in the process of delaying. And that's not a digital thing. That actually happens with analog delays. It's just this really cool function of delays. So that's one of my favorite ways to use a delay. Now, of course, as the ping pong mode. Right, where it's kind of like bouncing back and forth. As opposed to, you know, happening equally on both sides, ping pong is back and forth. Now, of course, ping pong's a little bit better to use if you somehow if you change the style of delay between the two. Yeah, that's amazing to hear, Enigmatic Onion. That's like, I'm really, really glad that you're finding this content useful. That's like what we love to hear. And congratulations. That's awesome that you're getting paid like to work on productions and stuff. That's the dream, right? That's what we're here to do. So what also I like about this plugin is it has this color knob, which is basically an EQ. Right, so you can hear the echoes get brighter. I like these. Or they get more muted. This is really useful, you know. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to come up with a cool delay pattern to interweave it with the other one. So call this blip 1. Call this blip harmony. So this is another great way to use delay, right? Is interwoven delay patterns. So that's like a really nice groove that I couldn't have really written. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have written this just off the top of my head. So I'm thinking I'll do the same kind of tactic here with this this synth, right? Where I'm gonna open up. Let's see. Let's have a look at this. It's actually a little bit bright. So let's see. We have that at 72 and that at 72 as well. So let's put that up a little bit, just a little, to give them a little more like texture and character, right? Yeah, I really like that. So wherever you can create a new, more timbre, more texture in delay, you're gonna get just more interesting results, right? I'm gonna do the exact same thing, right? I'm gonna create another kind of layer of this delay. And I think I'm just gonna go up quite a bit. Oh, oops, I'm hitting the wrong button. Like that. I'm going to do this at the end. Let's see what happens. Right there. Cool. So I'm gonna, for this one, use a different delay that I love, and I'll show you one. This delay I use all the time. Although actually, you know what? So yeah, what I was gonna do is I was gonna pull up Echo Boy, right? From Sound Toys, which is awesome, but I'll get to that in a little bit. What I'm actually gonna pull up instead is this plugin called Crystallizer. This is a weird plugin. So what this is this is a delay, but it's a granular echo synthesizer is what they're calling it, right? So basically what this does is it allows you to create these like really cool like reverse delays that are actually based on a volume threshold that they have to cross. And so I use this all the time to create atmospheres. I use this on vocals, not directly, but I use this to go to like throw to sends and returns for a vocal if I want to just create like a really cool, weird atmosphere. I specifically used it in my cover that I did of The Doors of Break On Through to the Other Side. And if you want to hear that, you can just go into like Spotify and look that up. But that in the bridge, at around like 3 minutes or so, you'll hear it, and it has this weird circling trippy effect. Anyway, so what I'm going to use this to do is to create like a very like weird pattern that I can weave into this. So you hear that reverse. Now what's also cool about this is you can pitch it up or down. That's pretty nice. And so if you turn this gate, turn more towards gate, you get a much less delay, barely any delay. And you turn over towards duck, you get more of a delay. So I kind of like this the way it is. I want to try to maybe find a different. That's quite nice. All right, how's that on the mic? You let me know. So for this one, right? If I only have one note happening, right? One thing you're gonna notice is I'm huge on modulation. I'm a big fan of like don't let anything stand still. Make your whole track feel alive. And the way you do that is through modulation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over to my modulation matrix, and I'm gonna go to right here, which is my wavetable position. I'm gonna send this to my LFO. So what this is gonna do and I'm going to turn off retrigger. So this is just so it kind of gets a little bit of tonal variation. So let's see how this sounds. I actually might do is I might put this at the start as well. I kind of like that pattern, that idea. That's actually a little distracting. So maybe I'll just go ahead and put it at the start. And I'm curious actually on the crystallizer. So now I've done is I've pitched down. Now, I'm digging that, but I want to get more of that weird, like, pitch down. So what I'll do is I'll just actually throw on the Echo Boy Jr. So there's no rule that says you can't use multiple delays at once, right? It's actually really, really fun. And so I'll put on this Plex mode. I love to use this Plex mode. I'm going to turn up the saturation a little bit. So I can kind of add sustain. By using a really, really fast So what this does, I can go 32. I'm going to cut out some of the high frequency stuff. Maybe not. Let's see what transmitter sounds like. That sounds weird and interesting. Ping pong mode. All right, so let's try to blend this in now. A little much. So I'm not actually loving this. Okay, that's a good question. So when you use multiple delays, you think about it in a similar way to series compression. No, not really. I'm just when I'm doing multiple delays, I'm just trying to come up with something creative, do something weird. I actually am purposely going for excess a lot of the time. So like something I might do to actually create more texture, and this is like a weird way that I use the Slate Digital plugins, is to like drive this delay to make a actual like distortion. I'll see what I mean. So I'm going to turn this up a lot. I like that they have this trimmer thing inside of the virtual mix rack. Then what I do is I take out one of these preamps and just crank it. I like that a lot. So maybe I'll drive into another one of the preamps. now I'm starting to get some weird stuff. So now I could go ahead and maybe, instead of using that delay that, I'll tell you what, actually, I got really into this. I bought this one recently. This one's really cool. So this is actually based on the delay. It's called a Benson Echo Rec. It's this Italian delay from the 60s that David Gilmour from Pink Floyd used. This one's pretty cool. Roll off a little bit of treble. So I'm going to show you a cool trick. So I'm going to also throw on definitely a reverb. One of my favorite reverbs is the Reverb Activate. Okay, that's weird. I definitely own this plugin. Okay. Sorry, this is a weird turn of events. All right, whatever. I'll just use a different version of it then. Huh, that's frustrating. So this one called Reverb. So yeah, in terms of like where do you go to download these plugins? It's just the name of the company. So the ones that I've been using so far are Slate Digital, D16 Audio Group, and then I've been using Sound Toys. I think those are the only ones I really used so far. That's a weird morphing atmosphere. So what I like about this reverb is that it's a modulated reverb. So what that means is that the tail actually, there's an LFO that's applied to it, like a little bit of a pitch LFO. It kind of wobbles. So I might go ahead and just use the Ableton auto filter. Right, so what ends up happening is I just have this cool pulsing noise. If I was going to be stuck on a desert island and could only bring one delay plugin, what would it be? That's a good question. Probably the repeater. I like that one a lot. Yeah. I'd say that. Actually, though, Logic's Delay Designer, maybe. There's this plugin in Logic called Delay Designer that allows you to build the delay from scratch, which is like pretty sick. Maybe apply a little bit of LFO here. So when you're building atmospheres, there's like, I think you can never quite use enough plugins. Now, one thing that's also really good to do is like freeze and flatten eventually, but I think in this particular context I won't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my favorite Reverb plugin now to just add some environment, more of a feel. Which is the Capital Chambers reverb from Universal Audio. Yeah, that sounds nice. It's going to make it a little bit more expensive sounding. That's without it. That's with it. It just puts a little bit of a layer of butter and depth on it. I really like how dark the reverb is. So like when I'm stacking, plugins and trying to kind of stacking effects, what I'm looking to do is I'm trying to make sure that each effect is doing something that is adding to what's going on, right? I don't just throw on effects for the sake of it, but what I like to do is, as you notice, I'll just kind of like I'll try things. That's important to just like see what happens. Yeah, just use all of them until your computer complains. Exactly, Rashane. I have like I invested in a very nice computer desktop, so my computer barely complains anymore. So I'm spoiled. Maybe this isn't an accurate representation of how people should produce. Yeah, so you're one of the only people that doesn't swear by Valhalla Reverb. Enigmatic Onion says, yeah, honestly, man, like, I just don't get what all the fuss is about with that reverb. And this is also my take on reverb, okay? Is like, most of them sound the same. Like, they do. I think that I like the Universal Audio reverbs because I think that they have more detail in them. I like the Lexicon 224 a lot, which I'll bring up in a second. And I really like the Capital Chambers reverb, and I really like the EMT 140, which is their plate reverb. I also love the Slate Verb Suite Classic reverb. I like it a lot for using its room sound. I think it has a really good room sound to use as like a glue for your mix. Like if you want to send everything to like a small reverb room, that really helps a lot. Now, here's a fun little throwaway trick that I use a lot that is like really plugin specific. Now you can do this with other plugins. But I always do this with this plugin. So there's this plugin from Waves called the TG12345. And what this is supposed to be is it's supposed to be like a model of the EMI consoles from back in like the Beatles and Pink Floyd day of Abbey Road. And yeah, so EMI was like is kind of the technology arm of Abbey Road Studios. And so there's this one, it's a cool plugin. They have this like spread knob on it, which I used to abuse, and over the years I just use it less and less because it just like throws the center so out of phase. It's kind of absurd. And like I don't really like these EQs that much, but sometimes I'll use the bass shelf to roll off low end on like a send or something. I happen to, it sounds really smooth, and this is actually kind of like a good de-harsher if you don't have like a Pultec emulation. I think this is, if you get this plugin, this is a really nice way to de-harsh things. I don't use it for boosting too much because it sounds really resonant and not natural. But this is my favorite part about this plugin. Do certain headphones help hear reverb or any effect better than others? I mean, look, at the end of the day, the better your headphones are, the more detail you're going to hear in general. I use a pair of headphones. They're called Phonon SMB O2s. I don't know if you can see that. I'll put that into the chat, though. They're pretty nice headphones. I have my issues with them lately. They're just like when things sound correct in them, they like sound too bright. So like thin, which I don't love, but I don't know, it depends. Like headphones are very as listening from speaker. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, yeah, look, you're going to hear this is like the trade-off. It's important when you're actually really important. When you're applying reverb to something, you're going to probably tend towards doing too much on the speaker. So it's good to like just double check in headphones to see if it's too much reverb, because you're going to hear reverb more clearly on headphones. So that is a good question. And I would recommend that if you're trying to really like get reverb precise, do that on headphones. You can really, mix it in between the little spaces. Anyway, so one thing that I like to do a lot with this plugin is I will put it onto compressor mode and turn down the dry wet all the way to 0. I'll do this on especially like atmospheres and reverbs. And I will turn the mix up. Try the limiter. And let's gain stage it. You know what? That actually isn't doing anything. It usually does. Interesting. It's a little something. It's kind of making the environment a little bit thicker, giving a little bit of saturation. Let's try this actually on a different sound though. So it might really pay off here more. There might just be too much blah in this sound already. So basically what this plugin, let me explain why I do this. What this should do is if you take compression, really aggressive compression, so like really fast attack, really fast release, really high ratio, that kind of thing, and you apply that to anything that has reverb that is like low, or delay that is low, and by low I mean in volume, not frequency. Listen what happens. It actually wakes up the delay more. Not necessarily in a good way all the time, but actually sounds quite nice. I like that. So yeah, what this does is, right, is it wakes up the tails and brings it forward more. Really just the reason is you're reducing the dynamic range, right? So you're making the distance between the loudest thing and the quietest thing a lot smaller. So all those delay artifacts come up. So what I might do is just, it almost gives like an attack to the artifacts as well. I don't use the spread really. So you hear how it adds the when I put it on. It gives a little more thrust. That's not a no. That's actually a really good point, Enigmatic Onion. That's not a bad way to look at it. Is like a lot of the time what I do is you dial in a little bit more than you need just so you feel it, and then you roll it back just a tad. Someone did teach me that one time. It's like you apply a lot of EQ and then roll it back like a decibel or two. That's a good way, a good trick. Now, one thing that's really fun to do that I like doing is I like using flangers a lot. Specifically, there's this plugin pack is super cool. This Eventide stuff, super slept on. I don't see a lot of people talk about it really ever. The only thing that ever gets mentioned is this Black Hole Reverb. I don't really use it at all. My plugins that I'm obsessed with from them really is this dual harmonizer and their flanger and phaser plugins. I think they sound absolutely bananas. And so one way that I like to do this, especially with their flanger, is I like to use flangers on returns. And what this will do, don't do this on low end, because it's going to throw your low end completely out of phase. It's going to be kind of a disaster. But if you do this on, I do this a lot on hi-hats and stuff, where I'll send it to a flanger. And what it'll do is you don't really hear the flanger, but what it does is it creates this weird three-dimensional space for the sound. I just like using a lot of their presets. A most interesting lead, Watson. Classic flange drag acoustic. Let's just try the Sherlock Holmes one. And so you can't even really hear what it's doing. And what I like to do is I like to put it on just to the point that the transient starts to smear. It adds this wavering, a little bit of saturation, like a little bit of darkness. So I would do this with each one. So if I solo this now, yeah, touching knobs is awesome, John Kingston III, and that's why I have tons of analog gear. So actually, to be totally honest with you guys, I don't use a lot of plugin effects. I have a situation set up where what I'll do is first of all, I bring in most of my synths through guitar pedals, because that sounds awesome, and then or effects pedals, and then what I'll do is I'll take things that I record sometimes and I'll send them out of the box back through pedals and re-record the pedal sound and then blend it back in like it's a return track. But so check out what this flanger does. Adds this extra weird dimension of motion, and I can program the flanger a little bit more so we really hear it. Now you really hear it, doing some weird stuff. Another example of a place that I would like. Actually, you know what I would use here? The sausage fattener. I never use this plugin. It's completely ridiculous. I bought it when I was 18 years old. if I take some reverb and I'll show you my favorite, absolute favorite, like big room sound reverb is the Lexicon 224 from Universal Audio. And I'll take this and I'll send it. So this is in our face, right? Now we have a huge sound. Maybe too much reverb there. It's just a subtle amount of depth that we need. Okay, yeah, so Rashane, so flanging, yeah. Flanging is a weird one. Like, what a flanger does is it actually takes the left and right side and subtly shifts their pitch in a really, really gentle way, though. Like really gentle, like not like huge fluctuations. We're talking like, you know, like really just detuning essentially, right? And so it makes it go like that kind of thing. And when you blend it in, so check it. So that's a 6.2. It actually sounds weirder when it's slower. So you hear how it's just detuning both sides. It's really good for creating trippiness. It's like, whoa, you're like continuously falling through some like black hole, right? And as I speed it up more, you hear that. I love this. Whoa, it's so freaking trippy. I like meditate to that. So simple Sam, a delay with short times also creates a flange effect. Yeah, it creates a very fast flange, but it's not really going to give you that classic flanger sound. So the flanger sound is really like comes from like it you know, had its height in the 60s and 70s. It's usually actually used on return tracks. It's not always. It's rarely used directly on, unless it's like a pad. Flangers are great for pads, right? So like, so if I were to like create a pad. Yes, 100% Rashane. So using it on a Rhodes sounds really dope. So flangers sound great on anything that you want to introduce a little bit of like life and motion to. That's why I love using flangers, is because you can use them to subtly or not so subtly add bounce and waver. So check out, I'm going to use this. That sounds really nice. What was I doing? Oh yeah, flanging. So yeah, if you throw a flanger on a pad, that's without it. And this is with it. This is definitely a situation where I'd probably use this in a effect rack configuration, right? Because it's like a little too pulpy, you know? A little bit too much Tarantino on that pad. So you get the motion, and then the color. Right, so you just turn that down. You even turn down the dry a little. Yeah, so that's what I like using like flangers for and stuff. And then, you know, if you want to like really quickly see what that sounds like in the context of a track, you know, get a little like DJ Seinfeldy with it. Modulation effects that are constantly in kind of a state of motion, right? I can 100% make a track now, like a kind of dub techno, melodic techno track that is like interesting the whole time. Like this loop, from my personal perspective, this loop will never get boring. That's just like super vibey and wavy, right? But if I took off all the effects, it would get really boring because nothing would be changing that much, right? Let me show you how you can now use effects on a bass line to make it more interesting. Let's see that. Why is this? There we go. Yeah, that's the thing, is that like yeah, so I'm glad you said this, William Mind Readers. It does sound great without EQing anything. The reason is because I'm consciously producing, right? That's what I'm going to call the way that I produce, is that I produce with intention. I always, once I fill up a space, I know, okay, that space has been taken. So now I have to use other spaces, right? And so if you just stack the spaces, you barely need to mix if you're producing well. So anyway, for this bass, I could put delay directly on. I like using delay a lot on bass. It sounds really cool. But I'm going to not do it directly on the channel because that makes it too complex to juggle. So I'm going to put it on a return track, and I'm going to use the Echo Boy from Sound Toys. I'm glad you are vibing, Enigmatic Onion. This is the intention, to vibe. So I'm going to turn this up. That is, like, do I need to touch it at all? Really quickly, now some of you are gonna laugh at me at what I'm about to do, but I do this all the time. I love this plugin for cutting out low end. It's so freaking smooth. It's an SSL based model DQ, and it has like an 18 decibel per octave filter, and it just sounds really nice. And so I use this to cut out like subsonic frequencies all the time. So for something that's delaying out wide, I don't need things below like 60 out there. I mean, you know, you could argue that you could potentially do that sometimes, but that's just gonna make the mix so like dragged down. Listen to that without the echo. Oof, it's so vibey that I'm gonna turn it up. That's the best comment ever, William. Now I'm going to show you. You know, I should just rename this day to delay day. So if I take this sound, this is a classic. This is one of the best ways to get like smooth 16th note delay. And instead of having to create this whole crazy, like, you know, velocity, nitty gritty on the hi-hat, you just turn down the feedback. And the more 16th notes that you want, 50 is usually a good place to put it. And the more feedback you turn up. And it's just so easy to then like make a moment seem bigger in a song, and then with a flange hit. That's funny. That seems like a nice one. That's a nice juicy kind of clap sound. Oh, the stream is ditching? It is glitching? Huh. Let me try to turn up my buffer, because it sounds totally fine on my end. Nothing's happening at all. Let's try to go up to like 512. Let's see if that helps out. Thanks for pointing that out, though. Oh, yeah, so if you want to shuffle the hi-hats, watch this. Clap. Really? So wait, so the video, are you sure that's not just on your end, man? So is anyone else having trouble with this or having trouble with the video? I think that might just be your internet connection. Oh, okay. This is a great question, Rashane. Yeah, sorry, Dark Attack. I think that's just an issue on your end, man. Oh, what's up, Supreet? Tuning in from India. Well, welcome, man. Welcome. Yeah, so the yeah, I think it slows down the groove, so I'm just gonna like leave it. But do the number? This is a good question from Rashane. So do the numbers in the Ableton delayed plugin determine the note rate for the right and left column? Yes. Okay, so let me explain. So these numbers represent 16th notes values. So 1 over. Seriously bumping this in my mail truck. Oh my god, dude. I have to keep playing it then. You gotta let that mail truck bump. Alright, yeah, so what these numbers represent, watching from Scotland. What up, Stuart? That's cool, man. So yeah, so 1 represents 1/16th note. 2 is 2/16th notes, which is of course an 8th note, right? 4 is therefore 4/16th notes, which is a quarter note. They have set this up in the stupidest way. It's just so freaking unintuitive until someone explains it to you, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. So 16 16th notes is a whole note. 8 16th notes is a half note, and so on and so forth. So that's how that works. All right, so I'm going to show you how to beef up a clap real quick with some audio effects. We're also just going to show you how to make the clap cooler, right? So we've created like a really nice environment here, like a space, an atmosphere. And so this is where I use these Eventide plugins to great effect. So I take this dual harmonizer plugin, put on the clap. So this is a weird plugin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the delay a little bit. It's basically like a super fast slapback delay. It's not even a slapback delay. It's like one of those robot delays because it's so fast. And then I turn up the feedback, and I'm just going to roll back the mix a little bit and check this out. isn't that a weird thing, Rashane? I agree. I find a lot of the Ableton stock plugins are not that user-friendly, whereas third-party plugins are. It should be the other way around. So this is too much, right? 100% too much, loses the groove. So even though it sounds sick, I still want to get some punch in there. So again, parallel processing. So I can just blend in the dry signal a little bit more. I think like it's a good idea. Like the number one thing that makes tracks tiresome to listen to. I'm gonna give you a lead in a second. And welcome from Argentina, dude. That's super sick. One of my favorite plugins to roll off high frequency content is a plugin that's really ineffective at doing it. So that's why I like using it, because it's super subtle. Is this custom series equalizer? It's like a 6 decibel per octave low pass filter. Now I'm just gonna cut this off the. So to reinforce this clap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to EQ the shit out of... Oh, it's supposed to be on here. That makes sense. This should be on here. So what I'm doing is I'm rolling off high frequencies there. So instead of... That's a little more subtle. My philosophy to mixing is something that happens often shouldn't have tons of high frequencies. Do you always cut under 20K on your tracks? No, definitely not. But like I just said, anything that happens a lot shouldn't have lots of high frequencies. It's just going to get fucking annoying, to be honest. It's going to make the track seem too close. Too close. So like I use high frequencies to make the track seem like it's jumping out at you, and then I take them away to make it seem like it's going away. And so what I do is I set things up so that things that don't happen a ton and often rhythmically have more high frequency content, and things that are happening really rhythmically are simmering below 12,000 usually. Like they have maybe little bits of nice things on top, but other than that, then they're a little bit more subdued. That's just the way I like to mix. I think it sounds warmer. And then also what that allows is that the mastering engineer can then sprinkle a little bit more 20K on top with a really nice analog EQ or something, and then you really get it. Thank you, Andrew Duke. So same thing here. So there's another plugin that I like to really use from this company, Positive Grid, the PG2 EQ. And this is a great Pultec emulation. And I also use this all the time to roll off high frequency content. So what I'll do is, instead of creating a low pass, a great way to roll off high frequencies is to actually shelf. I like that right about there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the shit out of it at 100 hertz. To thicken it up. I need a lot more beef in this. So I'm going to go to 300 hertz. Wide peak. There we go. That chuff. I want some chuff in there. That's a lot thicker sounding now. Alright, so now let's add something interesting into here. Let's actually make the track alive. Let's see if that works. No, so let's instead of no. E. Let's try E. Maybe we'll just do that on top. I like the bass line maybe staying the way it is. Yeah, so that reverb is actually coming from this Echo Rec plugin. This Echo Rec plugin will just never stop. And then if you turn it off, it stops. So it's fun for atmosphere in that respect. 'Cause it's literally atmosphere. It's just never going to stop. All right, let's create a lead by popular demand. Sounds like Dracula waking up at a rave. Thank you, Brittany. To make this have more energy would be to pull out the CAD. And then the atmosphere. So I'll take out the, yeah. That'd be one way to do it. Okay, yeah. There we go. So I'm thinking of a really specific way to make this more powerful. Add a 16th note bass line. So what I would do is I would add a 16th note bass line like this. This is going to be a little bit tricky to mix in, but it's doable. Like that. And I would just use the Ableton-Certified here. Just get to the harmonics. Turn it into a square wave. Probably a little bit more like that. Sub-octave. Yeah. cutting out, information becomes really important. So it's eating the speaker big time. So what we need to do is just take out a little bit of low end. So I'll take out the sub at 30. That's cool. I like that a lot. This is some vibey shit. I was not. Oh, but yeah, for the composition course. Ooh, yeah, dude, that would be cool. Yeah. Pennsylvania. Original mix. Yeah, that would be cool. All right, yeah, I can do that, man. Let's do that. Enigmatic Onion. So on the ARP, yeah, we could definitely do something like that. I would just do that with the, we can actually do LFO too. This is a perfect example of where, like, maybe I would use like the drum bus here really quickly, just if I need to like really quickly tune up this kick. Yeah. Oh my god, there it is. That's low. I hope you're listening with some low end because this kick just got fucking huge. Alright, I'm gonna show you how I arrange this because now I might actually make this into a track because this is like pretty fucking sick. I don't really make techno anymore, but I would probably release this. This is very cool. So the way that I arrange, and you guys have probably seen this before, is I just select everything and I duplicate it forever, and then I just start taking things away in the beginning. I don't even know if I want to arrange that. I just want to listen to that fucking loop. It's so huge. Yeah, you know, you're saying the side chain the kick thing. I don't think it needs to be side chained. It's natural side chain because the kick is hitting at frequencies that the sub isn't. Yeah, okay, so the thing is, I'm like very anti-side chaining. I think you can create natural side chain if the rhythms of the two instruments in different frequencies are counter positioning with themselves, right? So here, let's look at the kick. So that's pretty fucking huge, that kick. And it's hitting really at 52 hertz, right? So we look at the sub. Then we go to spectrum. playing at 64 hertz, so that's separate. That's fine. And at 52, look, it's actually ducking really around 52. So its peak is at 64, so that's chill. And this bass is it's more of an 100-y thing. Or a little higher. Oh, I guess that's 62. Okay, yeah, but I'm hearing the main overtone that I'm liking a lot coming from up here. And so they're just on different they're on different frequencies and different pitch pattern or different rhythmic patterns, so they're just kind of working off each other. Yeah. Yeah, so like real quick, if I was just to like arrange this, I feel bad for all the people that abandoned us, like, because they were like, what is this guy doing with all this like weird plug-in shit? And then we ended up with this banger. Respect to all the homies that stayed in the cut. All right. So I would start with definitely not the lead. I don't need that lead for a while. So I'll put that lead back to 33. Definitely don't need the ARP. The ARP is like, yo, next level. Let's go, like, take more ecstasy shit. Definitely don't need that hi-hat. Introduce the hi-hats next. Wait on the kick. I'm a big fan of making people wait on that kick. Now the clap. This isn't really a lead. This is more of just like a counter harmonic, polyrhythmic layer, counter rhythm layer. Yeah, I like that. That's fucking cool, man. I might even just make people wait even longer. Add in the sub without the kick. I would automate this. Clap is a little sharp, but that's something I'd worry about till later in mixing. That's not something to focus on while you're composing. That's like a thing that I try to like, prioritize creativity over functionality. like I'll make it work eventually. But unless it's like blatantly too sharp, it's kind of too sharp to clap. I totally agree. Good ears. Which has 19 seconds of reverb. And so I'm going to send this incrementally to the Taj Mahal, which is a ridiculous thing to say, but that's what I'm going to do. Now then we're going to make sure that I am I see basses as red. Yellow is confusing to me. So one thing I would do though is that clap does start a little too aggressively in terms of the way that it's being mixed in, the way that it's being introduced. So I go like this, probably. Bend it. Make sure it turns off. What we could do is this, if we want to just like really make this just no holds barred, go fucking crazy type track. We can put these right here. Come on. Yeah, I think there's like a 30-day trial that you can get, Brittany. How I'm using effects, right? I actually do this instead of using risers because I think risers are super cliche. So I'll like create a swell of noise. I don't do my own streams, but I definitely will start doing them at some point in the future. Right now I'm just focusing on like doing my own music, so. Go to the Reverb suite, and I don't need a fancy EQ to do this. It's important to understand when to use like a high quality plugin and when to use like a shitty one. So like, if I just need to cut out some lows, I'll tell you why I'm doing this. So I'm about to send the bass as well to this crazy reverb. I love reverb, man. Reverb is the truth. Reverb brings me closer to God. That is literally how I feel about it. What I am going to do though, is I'm going to open the filter on the bass. I'm going to increase the release time on the amplitude of the bass. Like something, yeah, exactly. Yo, literally, you read my mind, Esteban. Is I'm gonna have the hi-hat switch into a hi-hat that has less decay, so that it's more of a tightened, controlled energy. Very good instinct on your part. I completely agree. But one thing at a time, so I'll get there in a second. Feeling good though, that's for sure. Like we can tell it's gonna feel good. Maybe that's sending a little bit too much. Or you know what? I think yeah, so what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of like continuity, is I would duplicate the hi-hat. And then what I would do is I would just put a gate. I'm just going to take a gate. I'm just muting all of these out like an idiot. Yeah, so I'm just gonna gate these hi-hats. This is my favorite gate. It's the best gate in the business, in my opinion. Yeah, I changed cutoffs. I'm not automating the volume. I'm automating everything to this crazy reverb. take this blip shit and maybe mute all of them at the drop. Let's see. Yeah, I'd probably take that chord away too. Or maybe it's the alternative. Maybe I take the chord away and leave these in. Let's see. I don't know, I gotta see. I don't know, maybe I leave all of it. I kinda like that chunky vibe. I'm also thinking that this like lead, I still want it to get louder. I actually would just probably take this and put it even lower. The cut off. Yeah, so I'd actually have this open. I want that sub to cut through more, so I'm going to show you a weird trick to make your sub cut through more. Very counterintuitive. I'm going to turn up the high frequencies. You know, we've actually talked about something like that, William, doing that, but it's just like we haven't really been able to figure out logistically how to do that, but that would be super cool. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, you know what? I'm like super hungry. I need to I need to eat some lunch. But this was dope. I'm really glad you guys stuck around for this. I'll let you know if anything comes of this track. It's definitely like kind of a banger. So I definitely was enjoying making it a lot. But yeah, like I was saying, I gotta run. So for those of you that stuck around, I think you know what this is. But yeah, you know, if this was your first time here, maybe hit the subscribe button and come back for more of our class or more of our sessions. There are more people just than me who are streaming. You know, we have people on Monday, Tuesday, me on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think even Saturday, who are streaming. Amazing content, from instructors that have tons and tons of experience. And if you think you're like, if you're digging the content that we have here and you maybe want to like take your stuff to the next level, get a sandwich and come back. Nah, dude, I'm sorry. I got other things I got to take care of today. But yeah, if you think maybe you want to take your stuff to the next level, come and take a class with us. Maybe brush up on your Ableton skills, or maybe some mixing and mastering, or if you want to learn about vocal production, I teach that class. I'm glad that you found this session helpful, Rashane. It was a pleasure having you guys all here. Thanks so much for sticking around. Thank you, Enigmatic Onion, dude. I appreciate your support, and it's great to hear that you're leveling up and starting to make some money doing this. It's always a really exciting moment when that happens. Anyway, yeah, I'll be back next week. I think I might be talking about compression next week. I don't remember. It's either next week or the week after. But I highly recommend coming for that. I'm going to show you some tricks that you probably don't know. I'm going to show you how to actually use compression. Let's put it that way. And like where you should use it, where you should never use it. And I'm going to show you things that you probably won't find on the internet about tricks of how to do it. Anyway, this was really fun, and I'm glad that you guys stuck around, and I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you next week. Peace.